Urszula.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Commissioner. Let me firstly say, as Rapporteur, I'm very happy to see so many representatives of the citizens of Europe here at today's public meeting. It would be very difficult for us to talk about citizenship, about its relevance to our citizens in Europe without having representatives of NGOs here today, so I'm very happy to see you here. When I started work on this report, little did I suspect that it would provoke such interesting and controversial comments back in Poland, where it has been the subject of quite heated discussion on a couple of internet fora. I've followed them with interest because I was amazed to learn that firstly, so little was known about the rights of European citizenship, but secondly, that it provoked a strange kind of fear of national citizenship being edged out by some mythical EU citizenship. So I have spent the last couple of months explaining back at home that this is a bonus and not an alternative. There is no mythical EU citizenship which exists without being firmly anchored in your own national citizenship. Nevertheless, the discussion which I followed on the internet fora showed me, and what better way for citizens to express their views than the internet, showed me that this wasn't so clear-cut to many people. I'm very happy to have had this opportunity to work on this report. As you know, it covers a period where Europe changed dramatically. It covers the period from the 1st of May 2004, where the European Union saw unprecedented expansion, and the influx of new member states, especially those from Eastern and Central Europe. These citizens, more than the old Union, really began to use these rights, especially the right to the freedom of movement. With it, unfortunately, have come many practical day-to-day problems for our citizens as they move from one country to another, from one legislation from another. They have problems with family law, they have problems with jurisdictions, they have problems in divorce cases, in alimony, in child custody, with pension rights, with medical services. We have been facing a myriad of problems because of this desire and this rightful desire to exercise this right. So some of the issues we address in this report and hopefully in this debate will be focused on these practicalities. I'm very happy that the Commissioner mentioned what I would consider to be one of the more important aspects of the Lisbon Treaty, this initiative of 1 million signatures where citizens would finally feel that their voice is being heard by the Commission. My only fear, and I daren't almost say it in this building, is what if the Lisbon Treaty goes into an indefinite deep freeze? Do we abandon that very justifiable and very much needed initiative? I would hope that whatever the fate of the Lisbon Treaty, and I personally am really keeping my fingers crossed for its success, that one initiative at least will not be lost. We will touch upon consular protection and the rights we have as EU citizens to be protected by the diplomatic and consular staff of any member state should we find ourselves in difficulties in a country where our own nation is not represented. This is guaranteed to us by treaty. However, we have found, even from the experiences of members of this committee, that when it comes to the realities and the practicalities, life is very different. One of our colleagues was recently heading the delegation to Mumbai. You know of the tragic incidents that took place there, and a number of parliamentarians found themselves, just like many other European citizens, literally standing in their pyjamas without their documents in fear of their lives. And then they thought that they could exercise this right to seek assistance from any consul who happened to be to hand. Well, if European parliamentarians weren't able to get that right exercised, what chance did the ordinary citizen have who found himself in that situation? So this is an issue that we're also looking at very closely. One thing I'm also very happy to see in this report is that we are really looking closely and reviewing the various programmes that have been put forward and are in place already to help citizens exercise their rights, to help citizens who, for example, find themselves between two legal systems and then have the additional language barriers to contend with and really often do not know who to turn to. They find themselves being sent from their home country to their host country, from one organisation to another, and we find that the level of knowledge, in local government especially, still has a long way to go. So we are very happy to see that there are programmes in place. What we are very keen is for the emphasis on those programmes to get out of the Brussels-based think tanks and out there where our citizens are confronting the problems. I think really this report is about making the concept of citizens relevant to citizens themselves. And the real test of how relevant we are as institutions, as parliamentarians, as members of the Commission and Council, is the forthcoming European parliamentary elections in June. As the Commissioner rightly pointed out, these elections have been characterised by low turnouts, not only by people who haven't exercised their right to vote in a country where they are not nationals, but quite often, and very often, by nationals in their own country. Maybe those lessons of low turnout, maybe rejected constitutional referenda, constitutional treaty referenda and Lisbon Treaty referenda in Ireland should be giving us all a wake-up call. How well are we getting our message across? And is our message really relevant? And are we actually addressing those issues that citizens consider to be important? So, a brief outline of the report. I'm very happy to see that I have representatives of both governments, of NGOs, of the Ombudsman, who will add their voice to this discussion, but primarily I look forward to hearing your voice, because this report is still a work in progress. As a technical point, the deadline for filing amendments to this report expires tomorrow. So to NGOs, if you find a friendly MEP who is willing to listen to your case, you have until lunchtime tomorrow to get your amendments in, and I look forward to seeing them. Thank you very much.